All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Word with Ty Brownlow. I am your host, Ty Brownlow. And remember, no one is worthless, no story is worthless. Today, ladies and gentlemen, do I have a very special guest from you. All the way now live from Costa Rica, we have Mr. Jonathan England.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, thanks for having me on the show.
Hey, no problem at all. How are you?
Oh, great. Doing really good. I just ever since I've been in Costa Rica, I've been here for about I came here first March of last year, then I went back for about a month, and then I've been here ever since. So it's just something special about being here.
Oh, I'm pretty sure, my friend. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I know the weather's great, so I mean,
yeah, it's raining today. We're in rainy season right now, so it rains pretty much close to every day. But rainy season, we only got about another month and a half of that, and then sunny. But it's always the perfect temperature, no matter what. It never changes. The temperature is always about 75 degrees or so, 75 to 80 degrees all year.
Sounds like paradise, my friend. Sounds like paradise. All right. Well, first and foremost, as I said before, thank you for coming on to the platform. What I didn't tell everybody is, man, you are a #1 international best-selling author. And we're going to get into the book later on. But the first thing I want to talk about is Awaken University. Now, the mission of Awaken University is to reinvent the education system. Now, can you just give us a little bit more insight about that, and how do you plan on reinventing the educational system?
Yeah, see, the educational system that we grew up in, of course, most people are aware of this. It was created after the Industrial Revolution. We needed factory workers. So they just kind of beefed it up and said, all right, cool, let's just train everybody to be a cog in the machine. And what you're trained is the answers are more important than the question. And why that is so that you just regurgitate the answer exactly the way you're told, so that you'll actually be a cog in the machine, so you can be just like a little robot. And so that's what it was created for. It's still that way today. But that's not the reality that we're stepping into at this point. We've outgrown that. I mean, that's like 150 years. It's still been sitting exactly the same, and we're just not in the same times anymore. So now the things that people are preparing for, things that really, I mean, you've seen Elon Musk, he's got the robots coming out next year that's going to take over everybody's jobs.
Yeah.
But what we teach is health, wealth, happiness, relationship, spiritual connection are the 5 main pillars. And then there's like leadership and purpose. But these are the 5 things that really matter to people. These are the 5 end goals in life. Everything but these are things you learn nothing about in the old educational system, like nothing. And so, we teach on those things, and it's the exact opposite of what we learned. So we were taught that everything comes from the outside in, but in truth, everything comes from the inside out. And so the old educational system is what I call consumer education. This is creator education, because we were all creators, but we were conditioned to consume. And the educational system was part of that indoctrination process. So this is creator education about understand that you'll never get sad enough to end depression. You'll never get broke enough to end poverty.
True.
You've got to be the change you wish to see. So it all starts from the inside out. So with health, we're taught you got to go get a magic pill or, something from the outside in. That's not actually how health works. With wealth, you got to please your boss, and then your boss will write you a check from the outside in. That's not actually how wealth works. That's how, indentured servitude works, but not wealth. Happiness, we're taught, hey, go to Disneyland and you can go get happy there, or open the Coca-Cola, open happiness. And all the programming is telling us that it comes from the outside in, but happiness is an inside job. Relationships, we're taught they're a place you go to get, but they're not, because see, we're whole and complete already, but we're under this illusion that there's something outside of ourselves that's missing. So we're trying to consume relationships, and that's going to destroy it and sabotage it every time. So relationships are a place you go to give, but it happens from the inside out. And then spiritual connection, we're taught like God's this like gold gray-haired dude sitting up in the sky throwing lightning bolts at the people he hates and rainbows at the people that he loves. And that's just not, the kingdom of God is where? Within you. So it all starts within. And so flipping that switch to helping people find what they've been searching for, but they find it inside of themselves, and they understand that it was them the entire time that was meant to create it. You didn't come to get anything from this world. You came to bring your gift into it. You didn't come here for this world to put you to sleep. You came here to wake it up.
Hey, look here. Everything you're saying, my friend, I totally agree with wholeheartedly. I do agree that, it is time to like retool the educational system and deal with everything that's going on today. As you said, it was, brought up on like the first industrial revolution. We just talked about Elon Musk and what have you. Now we're in the fourth industrial revolution, of, pretty much of the world or what have you, where everything is pretty much going to be ran by tech, robots, what have you. And we have to figure out our place within that as well. And as you said before, man, time and time again, if it's not on the TV, it's probably in the magazine, or if it's not on the magazine, it's on the radio. If it's not on the radio, it's on a billboard. But there's always something out here telling you, hey, in order to achieve this type of bliss or this type of happiness, you must do this or you must do this. But everything that you need is within yourself, to do and go forth and be the person that you truly need to be. I totally agree with you. I totally agree with that method. Yes. Yeah.
And then also in that the consumer education, we're also taught that we're inherently valueless. We were taught that our ability to fit in the mold. So as long as you can, regurgitate the answer exactly the way you're told, then grade A meat, but if you don't regurgitate the way that you're told, then grade F meat, like a Taco Bell meat, right? So, but you still don't have any value. It's your ability to fit into a mold. So that's what's conditioned us to think that we're human doings, when in truth we're human beings, but we're doing our way into our worthiness, thinking that we don't have any value and so we're domesticated. So we trade in our purpose for approval. And so it's just a complete domestication. We get the carrot and the stick, and then we're like running away from the stick and running towards the carrot, trying to figure out who we're supposed to be. But that's never gonna be it, because the domestication is, we leave what is real in the pursuit of what appears to be. We're trying to get worthy, but we're leaving our true worthiness. So we're taught that we have no value. Our ability to fit in the mold, our ability to perform is what gives us value, but we're still left out. The inherent being that you are has no value. The action. So we're not loved for what we do. We're loved for who we are, but inside of that old world, we're loved for what we do. And that's dysfunctional.
Well, very dysfunctional. Let me just say that. And, it's very funny because, like I'm pretty sure 99.9% of Americans or what have you are pretty much grown up with this concept of, hey, you know what, man, go to school, get an education, you'll get a great job, or, to be, a success in society, you have to go, this route or what have you. And when you really break it down and look at like just, the people out here who are really successful, they didn't really go that route, They
didn't follow that blueprint.
Thank you. And now on top of that, you talk about, or society talks about failures. I don't really believe that, that's true. Like everybody talks about loss or what have you. I believe there's lessons in everything that we do. And sometimes it's going to take, a couple of, tries to readjust and get your mindset, which we're going to talk about in a few, to adjust to like the winning mode instead of like, hey, you know what? Go out here and, function, as you said, like a robot or be domesticated about your doings. No, man, go out here and be you and just don't be afraid to be who you are.
That's actually our core message. Earthwaken's core message is your only job for being alive is to be you. The only way you can possibly fail is by trying to be something that you're not. Your difference is the only thing that can make a difference.
I like it. Hey.
Sold.
I am sold. But now, I know we talked a little bit about it, but let's just, speak on it a little bit more. Like, how can people get the most out of their lives, to feel as if they're being fulfilled?
Yeah, so I always say, you need to stop trying to get informed and get inspired. Don't let your information get in the way of your inspiration. So even like Albert Einstein, basically, he said information has got nothing on inspiration and imagination, because information is going to tell you about what the world is. Imagination is what changes it. So you've got to find out what's inside of you. Now, watermelon seed had everything that it needed to become a watermelon in it from the get-go. Right. And so do we. But we're like, just imagine you're like a look, if you look at an apple tree and the apple tree's looking over the pear trees and everybody's eating the pears, and the apple tree's like, what the heck? Nobody's eating my apples, but I'm going to stop making apples and I'm going to make pears. And so an apple tree can't do that. And if it did, it would get sick, but that's what people are doing. We're so comparing ourselves because, again, we're leaving what is real in the pursuit of what appears to be. We're already worthy, but we're chasing worthiness. So stop doing things for your worthiness and do things from your worthiness. So you step into the worthiness, understand, find it inside of yourself. And then from that place, because people are running around like they're a thermometer. Okay, this is what it's like out there. And they're just judging what's like out there, but we're not a thermometer, we're a thermostat. We get to decide, where we set our thermostat to. What, somebody who win the lottery, whose thermostat is set for broke, all of a sudden within a couple of years, they're worse off than before they started. Somebody who maybe their thermometer is set at sick, they've been sick their whole life, and then they get healthy for a little bit, they go right back to sick because that's their comfort zone. So really it's called your psycho-cybernetic mechanism. It's a part of your subconscious it's literally like a thermostat. So you get to set it. You got to decide what is right for me, because as we're moving into this new, quantum reality, understanding that it's not, it's not about just living from the outside in, trying to figure out what this is, all the equations to try to understand the world. But we understand now that the actions of the observed are determined by the observer. So we're actually willing it into existence just because when the biggest myth is I'll believe it when I see it, but the truth is I'll see it when I believe it. So you've got to find inside of yourself the inspiring goal. And, you don't have to get motivated, because there's, the only reason somebody's not motivated already is because they're trying to chase dreams or they're trying to chase goals that were never even meant for them. It was a blueprint programmed in, it was never meant for them. So they're trying to do something that doesn't even inspire them. Once you know who and why you are, that lights you up and you're like, I can't wait to wake up in the morning and get to work on my thing, creating the thing, because I'm a creator, and creators here, why do mountain climbers climb mountains? Not to get to the top. They climb mountains because they love climbing mountains. Why do creators create? Because they freaking love creating, not just so they can get the thing that they make, so they can create because they love doing that. So it's waking up. That's why it's creator education, waking up to who and why you are. Who you are as a creator. Why are you? To create. And if you're not, faith is imagination focused. Fear is imagination running wild. It says, be not conformed to the patterns of this world, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So you've got to have the vision. Without the vision, the people perish. You've got to have the vision. And if you can hold it in your head, you can hold it in your hand. Let it live in you until you live in it. So that's the creator education.
Come on, look, man, look. Jonathan England is speaking my language, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if you all really recognize, but, it's so funny because I had somewhat of the same talk yesterday. And basically, the person I was, talking to, they were talking about personal development and how, most of us, in life at times, we don't really take time out to develop who we really are, because as you said, or as we stated before, we're programmed, to be a certain type of way. And, I don't really want to go into all these political things or what have you, but if you really look around at what's going on now, why you have such a pushback between people who really don't want to work anymore in like the standard corporate world or, for these factories or what have you, versus the people who are working in, who have gone back or what have you. It's a matter of personal development. Like, hey, you know what? I don't want to do that anymore. I don't like the way that made me feel or what have you. I felt that I wasn't really valued as a person versus, hey, man, I got to put food on the table. I got to do this. I got to do that, which is, don't get me wrong.
Pretty understandable. Yeah.
Yeah. But, as you said before, if you're a creator and it's within you to create, then why dull that, spirit? Why like dull those senses, going to a place where A, you're not going to get that feeling back. And, B, like who knows that you're going to get back to the point where you once were when you went back in. So.
Yeah, because you got to numb. In order to go into that thing that you're not in alignment with, it's not an integrity, and you have to numb yourself out. The only way to exist in that world, you become comfortably numb. You and your comfort is your cage. So we go into a comfort zone and it becomes the cage, and they have to numb themselves out to the pain of the destruction of their soul, like putting their soul to sleep, and they're in a trance. So this is like, it's called earth waking because it's about waking the world up. So it's transcending, ending the trance.
Hey, look, your comfort is a cage. Look,
Yeah.
That's a shirt.
That?
All right, look, you need to make a shirt out of that. Your comfort is your cage. Woo.
That's good.
Man, look, oh God, that phrase alone spoke thousands, okay? Millions, all right? Seriously.
Yeah, because see, everything that you want is, so if this is your comfort zone, everything that you have is inside of it. Everything that you want and don't have, guess where that is? Outside of your comfort zone. So you're like, well, I'd really like to have this. Well, you're gonna have to get uncomfortable, get that. But what most people miss is probably like, I would really like to have a great relationship. Well, do you have a great relationship? No. Have you ever really had one? No. Well, here's the thing. Guess what? That toxic, abusive narcissist that's in your relationship you got right there, guess what? That's inside your comfort zone. You're more comfortable in a toxic relationship than you are in a good one. People are like, I'd really like to be wealthy. Well, are you wealthy right now? No. Well, you're actually more comfortable being broke than you are being wealthy. You're more comfortable being sick than you are being healthy. Because whatever it is that you have, that's inside of your comfort zone. And that comfort zone, that's your prison, that's your cage. Now, the only thing this is a really good one, right? This is a deeper one, but when people get it, it's powerful. So the only thing that we're in control of is our smallness. That's it. See, for most of my life, I thought I got to put that gas pedal down. I'm going to get it. Come on, man. I'm going to make it happen. But what I started to realize, there's like smoke pouring into my car, right? In my metaphorical car. I'm like, put the gas pedal. We got to get this thing done. And the smoke's pouring in. And all of a sudden I looked down, I realized my foot was on the brake. The entire time it was full throttle, but my foot was on the brake. All we got to do is take our foot off the brake. It's like a beach ball that's been pushed underneath the water. We're like, how do I get this beach ball up above the water? You freaking let it go. So you let go of your smallness. You let go of your comfort zone. And all of a sudden you remember who and why you are. So it's not like you don't effort your way into it. You just stop not doing it. People are like, I don't know how to feel. Just stop not feeling. I don't know how to love. Just stop not loving. I don't know how to create. Just stop not creating. It's like, that's what you were born for. So just get out of the way. Stop trying to, let the comfort imprison you. Well,
look, I like it because it's simple. It's real simple, but yet, so monumental. As you said, it's deep, man, look, the only thing we can control is our smallness. Stop thinking small, you won't be small anymore. Yeah. As you said, take your foot off the brake. If you really want to go far, man, foot off the brake.
And it's terrifying. Have you ever been on one of those downhill slide thing? What's it called? Where all you got is the brake.
Yeah.
It's like a little bobsled type thing. And you go down the mountain.
Yeah.
And you're like, it's terrifying to take your hand off that brake. So because you're like, I'm gonna lose control here. I don't know if I'm ready. So you do. You lose when you take your foot off the brake. You lose control. And you're not meant to have control. You're meant to just let the love and the creation just pour through you. So it's like, opening the channels for more to come in and more to come out.
It's funny. I'm just listening to everything, and it just goes back to certain people in my life. As I've grown up, not a lot. I would say a very small percentage, speak of what you speak of. And, a lot of them have always said to me, it doesn't take much to be great. All you have to do is get out of your way. Yeah. And everybody would always say, get out of your way. You need to get out your own way. You need to get out your own way. You need to get out your own way. This is what, in my mind, this is what they were talking about, Yeah. And as you said, the bobsled or what have you, sometimes the adventure is in the ride itself. So if you're worried about how fast I'm going, you're meant to go that fast, okay? And, just because you see something ahead of you or whatever, doesn't necessarily mean there's going to be this big crash, you never know. And sometimes the bobsled may come to a screeching halt before you even reach the bottom. So you're left with, okay, I went through all that for what? Well, man, you started to put your foot back on that brake because you were worried about what the impact was going to be. And You know, some of us are just afraid to take those steps. So, hey, look here, you're, woo, I like it.
And how that begins is just when you're a little kid, you got your heart wide open, just imagination, just having a good time. Here I am, here's my heart. And then somebody stabs you in it. You're like, whoa, shit, that hurt.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't ever want to feel that again. So you put the wall up to keep the pain out, but you don't actually keep the pain out. What do you actually do? You keep the pain in. You just trapped yourself inside there with a demon. The pain was already in there. And now, you know, it's not the snake bite that kills you. It's the venom. It's not falling in the water that drowns you. It's staying there. So that moment that you put the wall up to protect yourself from the pain, you've actually trapped the pain inside. And then that's what you numb yourself out to. And that's your new thermostat. That's your set point. I'm comfortable with this amount of pain, but not anymore. And nobody ever is going to come in and attack me like that again. So I'm just hurting myself. So you'll take on a belief like I'm not smart enough, or I'm ugly, or whatever the lie is. And then you don't want that to come from the outside in. So you're protecting yourself from the pain of that shock of whatever the lie was. And then you put the wall up, and then you're trying to protect yourself from feeling that ever again. But how you're doing is by telling yourself that all day, every day. Like, it's subconscious. You don't even not aware it, but just, I'm not enough. It's like literally the I'm not enough is just regurgitating over and over. So somebody else can't come in and prove to you you're not enough. So that's why you don't take the foot off the brake, because you don't put yourself out there. Because what if you do give it all you got and then you don't get the results? Then you're like, see, I knew I wasn't enough. And you just proved yourself right. And you were terrified to feel like it wasn't enough. But you got to feel it to heal it. And you're not here to feel happy. We're here to feel fully. So just feel what it feels like to not be enough, and then let it go. No big deal. Okay, cool. I'm not enough. Great. Now let's move forward. Let me. It's not that big of a deal, but we're so terrified of nothing.
Hey.
And so best people like give it like 99%, but that's not it. That's not enough. Like if you're in a monogamous relationship and your partner's 99% monogamous, that ain't enough. It's got to be 100%.
All or in, all or nothing, all or nothing. And you know what? That's very funny that you say that. And when we hear terms like that, all or nothing, a lot of us get scared of that, because then, as you said, well, isn't what I'm doing not, enough for you? No, it's not. I need you all in. I need the best you. I need the full you, not the half, not this part of you, the full you. Even like the part that's, scared to take the leap or what have you. I found that, a lot of times who you surround yourself with will determine your success.
Oh yeah.
And if you're hanging around people that, are afraid to take the leap, don't think that mindset doesn't seep down and, you eventually take on that mindset. And now here you are standing on the edge when you know that you were well equipped to take the jump, and man, you were ready for the brace or what have you, because you were well prepared. But listening to others who are not well prepared has slowed your progress in taking that leap. So, yeah, Jonathan England, ladies and gentlemen, man, I'm telling you, hey, I like what he's putting down. Y'all better pick it up now. Okay. So now let me ask. Now, we were talking about mindsets a little bit before, but why is a shift in a person's mindset so critical in this post-pandemic? And I want to talk about the shift from possible to impossible as well.
Yeah. So the biggest myth is I'll believe it when I see it, but the truth is I will see it when I believe it. As Wayne Dyer says, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Literally, now it's proven in quantum physics. Again, we were talking about the actions of the observer determined by the observer. So it's literally happening from the inside out. And now all change happens in an instant. And it's the instant that you make the decision. When you decide, because when you decide, it cuts off from all their options. It's inevitable. It's already done. The moment you decided, it's already done. That's why it says, faith is the evidence of things unseen and the substance of things hoped for. It's like here now. So hope is you're like, there's a light there at the end of the tunnel. Maybe I can get there. But faith is when you realize there is no tunnel. You step into it now. It's not waiting for it to happen. Remember I said earlier, let it live in you until you live in it. And so you're feeling the experience of it done already. And it's like, you're just ahead of the physical dimension. There's a gestation period. So the physical dimension is going to meet you where you're at. But if somebody might say, well, it took me 10 years to quit smoking. Did it? Or did it take you one instant? Was it just the last time that you smoked is when you stopped? When you made the decision, I'm never going to smoke again, and then you never did. It took you 10 years to make that decision, but once you made the decision, it was done. So the shift is the decision. And so there's another deep one that's really, but not everybody will get it right out of the gates, but it's so we manifest our reality with our subconscious belief systems. Manifest does not mean to create. It means to make obvious what is already there. What's wrong is always available. So is what's right. You choose what to focus on, and what you focus on expands. Most people are focused on what they don't want. And what they're experiencing, because every adversity carries with it the seed of an equal or greater opportunity. The bigger the adversity, the bigger the opportunity. So what I do now, when there's an adversity shows up into my life, what I perceive as an adversity, because I'm perceiving it because that's my filter, right? If I was looking at, your background there, it's white, but if I was wearing red glasses, I would swear to you that was a red background. I would be absolute certain that was a red background. So from the lens of the limitations that you're in control of, that adversity, it looks like an adversity. But when you take the lens of limitations off and unworthiness and I'm not enough, when you take that filter off, then you see opportunity. So what I do the moment the adversity shows up, I'm like, oh, I start celebrating, and it takes off the lens of adversity and it puts on the lens of opportunity. So I go from consumer to creator, from victim to victor in an instant. Yeah. And so it's like all this, like the cave you fear to enter holds the treasure that you seek. It's the thing that you resist the most. Another Einstein, you can't solve a problem at the level of consciousness that created it. So when I was saying earlier, we leave what is real in the pursuit of what appears to be. You're leaving perfection chasing perfection. You're leaving love chasing love. You're leaving worthiness chasing worthiness. You're leaving who you are chasing approval. You're leaving purpose chasing approval, thinking if I could just do what they need me to be, then I'll be approved of. But what they need you to be is your purpose. Like, live your purpose from the inside out, not the outside in. So we create the problem, and the assumption is the problem. See, when we said earlier, in school, we were taught the answer is more important than the question, but the questions are the answer, because the questions are what directs your focus, and your focus is what you're going to get. So we've got to shift our focus. It's two sides of the same coin. Instead of seeing the adversity, which is us putting our foot on the brake and limiting ourselves and keeping us in our comfort cage, we look at the opportunity, take the foot off the brake, step out of the cage. It's uncomfortable, but we get comfortable in our discomfort because that's how we know we're growing. And if there's other three that I stick together that are really good together. So faith untested can't be trusted. And if you know how to do it, it doesn't take faith. If it doesn't take faith, it's not big enough. Why is it not big enough? Because if you're only doing what you know how to do, you're not growing. And if you're not growing, then you're dying. You're not creating. And that's what you're literally here to do. So I just dropped a bunch of bombs all in there really quick.
Man, look, I'm telling you now, look, when this is done and this is edited and I put it back out, like for those, look, people, you all need to watch this maybe 3 or 4 times before you really understand what Jonathan is saying to you, okay? Some of you all are going to get it right off the jump. Some of you all are going to have to take that time to go back and look again and do it again, because everything he's saying is fact, as the kids would say, that's facts. But yes, I mean, those are facts. And I'm just going to take it back to what you said before. The only thing we can control is our smallness. And that resonates with me, that resonated with me heavy, because I'm just thinking back to like certain situations, even like certain jobs or what have you, that I've, been at, where at the end of the day, it's always been the burning question, like, how the hell am I going to get out of here? What the hell am I going to do next? I know in my heart, I really don't want to do any of this anymore, but I don't know, this is what I really want to do, but I need to have X, Y, Z in order to do this ABC. When in actuality, no, I'm everything that I need. I have everything I need. It's just really about going out and just doing it, you know? So
most people spend their lives getting ready to get ready because they're still trying to figure out how to do it. Now, remember, if you know how to do it, it doesn't take faith. If it doesn't take faith, it's not big enough. So they're getting ready to get ready, waiting for the how. But so your job is the what and the why. Let go of the how and the who. The how and the who will show themselves when you know what you want. And the why is strong enough that you can make the decision and just like cut it completely. So you don't got a foot on the dock and a foot on the boat. You just jump in or else you'll fall in the water. So you got the what, that's what I'm going for. Why? And that why's got to be so strong, because if you got like a what that's like a level 10 to you, and you got like a level 5 why, well, there's going to be level 10 problems show up. However big your what is to you, but I mean, the problems are only, they're self-created. You're making them all up because you face it within or you face it without, by chance or by choice. Either way, you're going to face it. What is it you're facing? Your fears, your limitations, and your judgment. So it's just a battle with your own self that all you're doing is facing up against your comfort zone when you make the goal. So if the goal is like, that's way bigger than me, well, that's even, so some people, that goal that you just set might be like a level 2, but to you, it's a level 10. So you're going to have to face level 10 problems because you're creating the problems in the first place. So you say, I want that level 10 goal. Well, which means there's going to be level 10. You have to fight Goliath at the end. You got to get past your level 10 fear to actually be the person who receives that reality. So you have to have a level 11 why. Because if the level 5 shows up and you got a level 2 why, like it'd be cool. Well, you'll just turn around, go back sitting on the couch eating your Cheetos and go right back to your comfort zone. But if your why is 11, then you'll bust right through a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and even a 10 problem. Bam. Like it's nothing.
Whoo.
Yeah.
Okay. Look, no, seriously, like it's oh my God. Hey, people. I'm enjoying this one. And man, I can't say right off the bat, this is probably one of my favorite interviews already, of the year, because it speaks volumes. And on top of that, we're just at that point now where if you're not going to go for it now, then when,
that cage door, the comfort cage, that door is about to slam shut. People are sitting in their comfort zone and they're not even watching. Their sovereignty is getting stripped it's not getting stripped from the outside in. It's getting stripped from the inside out. People are giving away every time you say yes when you mean no, when your higher self, it's not integrity and you say yes, it's a self-imposed prison. You put another jail, and you go so deep down that rabbit hole, and then all of a sudden you can't get out. You don't even know how you got there. And that's where it's at for humanity right now. We're at a decision point. I talk about it in my book. If you guys read my book, I wrote this thing, or it's written through me. Like, talk about get out of the way. I got out of the way. That thing, it took 2 weeks. I did a 40-day fast. I wasn't eating food for 40 days, but for 2 weeks, I just sat and wrote that, and it just poured out of me. Exactly how it is, that's how it came out of me. But I talked about these 2 trains. And I said that these 2 trains, on one train, the people are waking up, and the other train, the people are going to sleep. One train, they're moving into unconditional love. The other one, they're moving into unconditional fear. Right now, the trains are really close together. And that was several years ago when I wrote the book. But so people are jumping back and forth. There's the gray area. Am I in love or am I in fear? Am I awake or am I asleep? But what's happening is that people get more awake and the people get more asleep. The trains are starting to split and they're getting further and further apart. So what you're experiencing is the people who are choosing comfort over freedom. Those people, there's a cage door slamming shut. The comfort is your cage. And so they're choosing the comfort because they're afraid. They're choosing it out of fear. And what's happening in the world right now, people are moving into not just fear, but unconditional fear. Fear without conditions. They're terrified of everything. They're terrified to walk out of their house. They're terrified of their children. They don't know where the villain is coming to attack them from. And they're so terrified. But on the other train, the people are moving into unconditional love. I'm good no matter what. No matter what comes at me, this world doesn't affect me. I affect it. And so that's the creators waking up and the trains are separating. So you got to choose now. Now's it say if you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice. That's a Rush song. But so people are like, well, I've been sitting on this boat for a long time. Well, that boat's going off the water, Niagara Falls. If you don't get off, that means you chose to go over the falls. So I'm just saying, this is a fork in the road here. You either take your power back or you hand it away for the rest of your life. indentured servitude is your journey, and that's fine. You're like the lion in the cage, but I'm the lion that's out there. I don't know where my meal is coming from, but I enjoy finding it.
By George, man, and it's really about the adventure at the end of the day. Of course, there's always going to be a destination, but how you get to the destination is really about learning. And, as I said, the journey is about learning, and that's where you get the experience. Look, he's not the #1 international best-selling author for, no reason, ladies and gentlemen. All right. These are facts he's dropping, jewels he's dropping on us. Okay. Let's talk about your book real quick. If I Die Before I Wake. Man. Is any of this in a book, or is this?
Quite a bit. Most of this is probably in the book. I haven't read it in a while, but so we were just getting into the book, and I talked about the train. So if I die before I wake, what does that mean? I'm not saying you go to sleep tonight and you die while you're sleeping. I'm saying you woke up this morning, but you need to wake up again. There's another awakening that has to happen. What happens if you die in that trance that you're in? Is really what the book is talking about. And so I teach on these 5 levels of consciousness. There are really 5 states of conscious orientation, 5 ways that you can perceive reality. Now, we're all in level 5 all the time, but what you believe to be true is true for you, even if it's bullshit. There might have been a time in your life where you thought your friend stole something from you, and it felt like betrayal, or they said something bad about you. You thought they did, and you really felt it like, oh my God, betrayal. And you had the experience, and then you find out later they never said it. So it was real. It was what you believe to be true is true for you. Even though it was bullshit, it wasn't even real. You experienced it as if it was. So we're all in level 5 all the time, but most of humanity perceives themselves in level 1. So the book is the journey through the 5 levels. There's 3 parts of the book: the path, the proof, and the process. The path is the roadmap of the 5 levels. The proof is my journey. And then the process are the tools that kind of like the cheat code, so you can transcend each level quicker. But I'll just run through the 5 levels really quick. Level 1 is called disoriented. This is where you have no orientation. You don't know where you're going. It's the victim mentality. And again, 90% of the planet is in level 1. Level 2 is goal oriented. This is where you set the goals like, all right, I know where I'm going. I just need to have this. I got to have that house, that car, that spouse, those shoes, that car. And then once I get all those things, then I'm going to be happy. So you make it about the destination. You set all the goals and then you head towards that. But you take responsibility for it instead of blaming. It's not your boss's fault if you don't got any money. You take the responsibility. Hey, I didn't set the goals. I didn't work for it. So that's where like the world looks like. Sure, humanity. That's where they think the end of the game is. But that's where like Robin Williams got to. He won that game. Michael Jackson won that game. Whitney Houston won that game. But what happened to them? They were like, well, what do I do now? They won the game, and they still weren't fulfilled because the next level is level 3. And this is what humanity's moving into right now. By chance or by choice. There's only 2 ways into level 2 though. And I talked about in my book, and I said, what happens to the individual happens to the collective and vice versa. So the individuals go through it and the collective goes through it. So humanity has to get to level 3 because in level 2, you're like forcing the world to do what you needed to do so you'll be happy. And we've been destroying our planet because we've been trying to force the planet to make us happy. But the planet can't make us happy because happiness doesn't come from the outside in. So level 3 is called journey oriented. This is when you realize it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. And you move into this present moment and you find everything that you've been searching for inside of yourself. And then you're free, and then you're whole and you're complete. Then level 4 is what's called value oriented, because now that you're whole and complete, you've got an infinite well of everything that you've been searching for inside of yourself, and now it can start to pour out into the world around you. And then level 5 is what's called soul oriented. And this is the surrender, not my will, but thine be done. Like you can't see the picture when you're inside of it. So you tap into the high. So you're in the world and you're tapped into a higher perspective outside the world. So you're like, you're experiencing life through the limited perspective of the identity that you're in, but you're tapped in to a higher perspective and you're being guided. So that's the journey through the 5 levels. That's what my book's about. That's what, the Awaken Life Live event is about. Pretty much everything that I do is around those 5 levels.
Okay. So I was going to ask you about the Awaken Live event. So that's pretty much what we're talking about in that event as well. Correct? Yeah. So we go through the 5 levels in that event as well. And so now on these 5 levels, what's also cool is the member educational system. We teach health, wealth, happiness, relationship, spiritual connection. Well, each of those are lessons inside of each of the levels. So level 1
is health, taking responsibility for your body, because if you don't have your body, then you're done on this planet. You can't do anything else.
That's
Level
true.
2 is wealth, which is taking responsibility for your external environment. Level 3 is happiness, taking responsibility for your internal environment, your thoughts and your feelings. You're the only one in there. Level 4 is relationships, taking responsibility for your connection and contribution to others. And then level 5 is spiritual connection, taking responsibility for your connection to infinite intelligence, to the all and the only. So we go through that journey. So you're taking your power back in your health, your wealth, happiness, relationship, spiritual connection. You're getting abundance in all those, and you're stepping into your purpose and developing your leadership skills, because the world needs leaders right now. Heart-centered leaders who bring certainty in a world where there isn't any, because you've got the certainty inside of yourself. And so we go through that journey of the 5 levels, and we take you create abundance from the inside out in all aspects of your life. In that it's a 2-day event, 12 hours a day for 2 days straight, and it is full on just power punch. Like, if you just been here for 45 minutes, just a few bombs I've been doing. Imagine 24 hours of just wham, and people come in like every single time we do it. We'll have people that they're suicidal, that this is their last ditch effort, and then you'll see it because we do one-on-one breakthroughs, and they'll shift their entire. We have that shift. Their entire world reorients in one instant, and suddenly everything they've been like their whole life they've been waiting for something, and bam, it instantly manifests. Like miracles occur. Like my mom was on hospice about 8 years ago, given less than a month to live. Now she's in better health than she's been in her entire life. We've healed everything from COVID to cancer at this event. So, and it's our gift to the world, because the world needs it now. I don't charge anything for it. We cover the cost. Just show up for yourself fully. And, it's our gift to the world.
Well, how do people get to this event? Like, is this like Zoom?
Yeah, just go to, it's on Zoom, but you just go awakenedlifelive.com, and then go to awakenedlifelive.com/PR. And then you'll get your free tickets there. And then you just show up on Zoom from the comfort of your own home. It's coming up this weekend from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Central Time, Saturday and Sunday. It's this weekend. So come on. It's just all you put your name and email address in. And if you can only show up for an hour, show up for an hour. But a lot of people, they're like, what the hell is this? Because it's hard to explain what it is. So people are like, I don't know what this is. So they're planning on showing up for like 5 minutes. And they're like sitting there like, holy shit, this is really good. And it will end up on day 2 after 24 hours. They're like, I was going to be here for 5 minutes. I can't believe I sat here on Zoom for 12 hours, 2 days straight, and they don't want to leave. So I'm telling you, it's beyond what you could ever imagine possible in 2 days on a Zoom call. We've got people who've been to Tony Robbins' $5,000 Date with Destiny event, and they're like, this thing blows that out of the water. So it's
well, what you're speaking of, I have this thing called the Iron Box. And it's pretty much like you said, cage is your comfort.
Yeah.
I have this mindset or I have this belief that we're able to tackle anything that we, have in front of us. If you were trapped inside an iron box, okay, where it was sealed, okay, on all corners or what have you, all 8 corners of it was sealed. It's about the mindset. We can get out of anything that we want when we, change our focus, when we shift our focus. And that's basically everything you've been talking about. And when I say it to people, they're like, there's no way in hell you can get out of an iron box. You won't even be able to breathe inside an iron box. I'm like, no, if you have the proper thinking, you can get out of any box, So
a perfect example is Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning. You read that book? He was in Nazi Germany. He was in the concentration camp. All his family got killed. All his friends got killed. And he was in this concentration camp. But you know how he made it out? You know how he got out? He shifted his mindset. He put himself, he started living in the reality where he was already outside of it. He saw that he was going to get out of this, and he was going to write a book about this to share people what was happening in there, so it would never happen to anybody else ever again. So nobody would ever have to go through this again. So he had a new vision. He saw himself outside of it, and he held that vision. He held it in his head. He let it live in him until he lived in it. So that's how it happens. Because again, we're stepping into the quantum field, the quantum world, where you understand it's happening from the inside out. The actions of the observed are determined by the observer. You saw it in the Matrix. Whenever Neo was like trying to bend the spoon, he's like, how do you bend the spoon? What'd they say the answer was? Remember?
There is no spoon.
Bam. That's how you get out of the box.
There is no spoon. Oh, no. That's one of my favorite quotes.
There is no box.
There is no box. There is no iron box.
That's how you get out.
Look here. Jonathan England, how can people get in contact with you? If they want to get in contact with you.
Earthwakenvillage.com. First go to Awaken Life Live. Come to our event, Awaken Life Live. And you'll be there with me for 2 days. But this is our virtual village. So I'm down in Costa Rica. We're building regenerative villages down here. And then we're going to expand them all across the planet. But this is our virtual village. So you can start plugging in. If you take a healthy fish and put him in a dirty fish tank, what happens to the fish? It gets sick and dies. But if you take that dirty fish and you put him in a healthy fish tank, he gets cleaned up and he comes back to life. So this is the clean fish tank, earthwakenvillage.com. It's our virtual village where, people that have a shift in their mindset, they're believing and living in love. Get yourself surrounded by it. This is a place to get surrounded by it. And I'm in there. You can chat and reach out to me right in there. And it's like a social media kind of website there. And so it's our own platform. And you can go download my book for free as well at findyourpurposebook.com. And you can download it. You'll get the PDF and the audio version for free. I just give everything. Here you go. I just give the whole world everything that I got. Because I know that the more people receive these things that I share, the more people wake up, and the more people wake up to their purpose, the greater my world becomes. And I got a baby boy, he's 4 months old. So I know the more creators that I can wake up into their purpose and their power and to start, creating and giving their thing, the better his life is going to be. So
I like it. Hey, well, man, I'm afraid to ask this last question because this is the question that my show is known for. But, I like how we've been, talking about things, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Mr. Jonathan England, what is the one word that best describes you and why?
Faithful, full of faith. Now, remember, fear is imagination running wild. Faith is imagination focused. So I hold the vision. I've got vision that got dropped into me. I'm here on this planet. I'm not here for me anymore. I gave up my life. I surrendered it over. And then I was given a vision. And there's 3 specific missions: reinvent the educational system, reinvent the monetary system, and unite religions. So that vision was given to me. And I just say, how can I serve? Not my will, but thine be done. And I just say yes. No matter what comes at me, no matter what it looks like, I just keep walking on the water. So in the story I was an evangelist atheist for like 20 years. So it's wild that I use Bible verses, but I use Bible stories. But so when Jesus called Peter to walk on the water, Peter starts walking on water and he goes over to Jesus, but he's almost there. And then all of a sudden what happens? The waves get rough and the wind and the storm. And then Peter starts to sink. Now here's the key. Peter didn't sink because it got rough. Peter didn't lose faith because it got rough. It got rough because Peter lost faith. Because his imagination started running wild about all the shit coming on out there. But when you keep that imagination focused, without vision, the people perish. When you hold that vision, you keep your vision focused, all of a sudden you're stepping in faith and it's done already. So everything that I'm talking about, it's inevitable for me. You can probably feel it inside of myself that I don't have any fear. I don't have any worries because I've got faith. I'm birthing this new earth. The regenerative villages here, all across the planet, the educational system. We've already done it all. It's just scaling it now. We've already got our own monetary system. We've reinvented the monetary system. We just got to scale it all. And it's already done for me. It's already my world. It's just how big is my world going to get? How many people are going to be done with the bullshit and ready to step into something that actually works?
Look, I love it, man. I love it. Like, I love this conversation. I love this interview. I just like everything about you, like from the beginning up until now, even so forth and so on. As I said before, this is something that even I'm going to watch like 2 or 3 times because so many gems were dropped. So much knowledge dropped in here. And it's really common sense. Once the mindset is shift and you make that pivot or what have you to the point where, okay, enough of this other stuff, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to go forward by, believing in me, believing in what I can do. And I'm going to stick to the plan that, man, I want to stick to, not what other people want from me, but what I want. So look, look, once again, I thank you for coming onto my platform, blessing, man, not only blessing the people, but man, blessing me with some of this knowledge as well. And man, like, look, Awaken Life Live this weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Okay.
This weekend.
All right. 48 hours, correct?
It's 24 hours, 12 hours. 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Central Time, both days.
Okay. All right. So 2 days, 24 hours. Man,
Yep.
Check it out. I'm telling you, man. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Word with Ty Brownlow. I've been your host, Ty Brownlow. Remember, no one is worthless. No story is worthless. You can follow me all social media platforms at Word with Ty Brownlow, or you can go to my website, tybrownlow.com. Man, you're definitely going to get this conversation, interview, plus other great interviews as well. Mr. Jonathan England, thank you.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you for having me on the show.
All right. We out, people. Peace.